role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the department are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on today's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by section 551.071 to 551.084, inclusive of the Texas Government Code. I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking time today to join us and for your interest in the Harris County Department of Education. With that, we will begin with the invocation by Dr. Akua Obeng from the Research and Evaluation Institute.
Let us pray. Father, thank you for choosing each one of us to impact our school district. Thank you for our students, their families, and our community. We pray that in this board meeting, you will give us innovative ideas that will challenge us. You will give us the tools and the techniques that will challenge us to do more that we have done for our families, our students, and our community. You will challenge us to do more for our communities and for this nation. This is our prayer and our desire as an organization. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Dr. Obeng. And now, Gil Gaona with the Center for Safe and Secure Schools will lead us in the pledge to the U.S. flag and the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, and one and indivisible.
Thank you, Mr. Gaona. And it is time for the open forum. However, we have no one signed up to speak. I don't see anybody. So we will move on to reports and presentations, beginning with the Employee of the Month presentation by Ms. Natasha Truitt, Executive Director of Human Resources.
Good afternoon. Today we are honoring a longtime employee who is also retiring next month after more than 30 years with HCDE. So today, please join me in welcoming Ms. Laura Geary, Executive Administrative Assistant to the Assistant Superintendent of Education and Enrichment in HCDE's November 2022 Employee of the Month. Laura embodies the spirit of HCDE, consistently providing support and help to her colleagues and other divisions. She puts the needs of others before herself, always looking at the customer experience and how she can enhance it to support HCDE. For Laura, excellence is the standard, not the exception. She does everything at a high level and is constantly seeking to improve her skills and knowledge. She adds what her boss, Dr. C.J. Rogers, calls the Laura flair to every project she's involved in. This is usually a little something extra: decor, music, sparkle, balloons, something that makes the events and celebrations she's a part of distinct and memorable. In his nomination, Dr. Rogers said that Laura takes an ordinary idea and makes it extraordinary using her initiative and a unique skill set that adds values to everything she touches. Dr. Rogers also said that Laura is someone who can both conceive of an idea and execute it flawlessly. One of her greatest strengths, he noted, is her capacity to engage with others in a collaborative and team-minded way. When one of the divisions on the Education and Enrichment team faced a future of uncertainty with reorganization and personnel changes, Laura stepped in to help calm the seas. With her institutional knowledge and kind heart, she was able to support her teammates with acclimating to a new working environment while guiding veterans and new employees in collaborative work involving processes and procedures. In order to effectively address the blind spots in education, HCD often has to exhibit flexibility, a big picture mentality, and the willingness to be audacious in its endeavors. Laura Aguirre exemplifies the spirit and character in everything she does. During her tenure with HCDE, Laura has worked with all divisions in some capacity, either as an employee or helping them with a project or program. Every division that works with Laura can testify to the fact that she is someone who is willing to help with any task or idea. She stands as a source of support and a resource for help that goes above and beyond normal teamwork principles. Laura's willingness to contribute her time and knowledge to help any HCDE division or employee personifies HCD's quest to be exceptional in all we do. Our communications team created a short video that will give you an inside view of Laura and her supportive nature.
Dr. Rogers' office, may I help you? I am the administrative assistant to Dr. Rogers.
Perfect.
He's the assistant superintendent for education and enrichment. And I pretty much, keep his calendar. I run his life, probably, you could say that.
What I love most about Laura is she can take an idea and she put her Laura on it, and it turns into something that we've never seen before. It's a high sense of pride in her work and in her work product.
There's 6 divisions that are under him, and we meet twice a month. So I plan all the meetings. We do a lot of professional development, but an admin goes from point A all the way through Z. There isn't, one little scope of work. It's the other duties assigned that I feel that we grow in. Hey Lily, I have a question about your service delivery.
She is the leader of all of the admins here in our department, and she's a great leader. I mean, she never lets us think that we're doing something wrong. She reminds us that we're learning. I mean, I feel like I'm her best friend. I'm probably not, but she makes us all feel like we're her best friend. She really does.
I started when I was 16 years old. I was a senior in high school, and I started here as a part-time aide for adult education. When I realized, they had ESL classes, they had GED classes, and they were free, I told my mom, you gotta do it, Mom. She was an ESL student for like 6 months, and then from there, she goes like, I'm gonna go get my GED. She got her GED, then she went and she got her license to cut hair. So I was so proud of her. I've been lucky. All my bosses that I've had in my journey have been amazing, and I've learned from each one of them. With Dr. Rogers, he's taught me to celebrate the wins, no matter how small they are. He is such a great boss.
Most important thing is I've learned the true value of what it means to be an HCDE employee. Laura does it with a certain grace that, I just pray that I can have.
My next journey as I retire is balloon business, making people happy. I consider myself a balloon artist. Now HCD is not going anywhere. I'm going to still be here to help, to volunteer. I've had a great journey here with HCD. I mean, I haven't wanted to or even tried to look somewhere else. I've been happy here.
I am pleased pleased to introduce our November 2022 Employee of the Month, Ms. Laura Aguirre.
Everybody, that looks good. All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Last one. 1, 2, 3.
Once again, congratulations, Ms. Aguirre, on behalf of the board. Congratulations and good luck in your future endeavors. We'll have the superintendent's monthly report. Mr. Colbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'd like to say we're losing a good one. You know, I talked to Laura, I think it was, did we talk yesterday? Getting all my days mixed up. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. And one of the things that wasn't mentioned in the video that I think is one of her dominating traits that she brings to her position is actually her infectious smile. I've never seen, I don't ever want to see Laura mad, but it's a genuine infectious smile, and she is symbolic of all the good things at HCDE. She actualizes what the exception is, and we're losing one. But you need to know that you still have an assignment. You will be considered a critical partner of Harris County Department of Ed out in the community, so we will miss you. So thank you so much, and we appreciate you. I've got a long list to update the board today. First, I'd like to give a shout out to Fortis Academy. For those who don't know, their students made a delicious, was it 4-course, Parker, or 3 courses? 3 courses. I got to ask Parker because I know he knows. He probably had 6 courses, but they did a fantastic job in providing us our Thanksgiving lunch today. They spent a tremendous amount of time cooking that turkey and doing all the sides, the desserts. We have a very good chef out there who's teaching them the right way of doing things, which she has a saying that it's not this. Y'all don't know what that means. That means it's not frozen. You're not opening up a bag, pulling it out of the freezer. Everything is fresh. And so kids did a fantastic job, and so happy with the work that they're doing at Fortis Academy. Last week, or actually I guess it was 2 weeks ago, October 24th through the 26th, I had the opportunity to go to Gettysburg with a group of superintendents to the U.S. Army War College, where we studied leadership traits of the battlefield of Gettysburg. It was once again a very impactful and powerful piece of professional development, one that I've been a part of several times, but I never stop enjoying what I see people get from it. It is, and these are quotes, life-altering for some of the participants. We're able to deepen our knowledge and just tactical leadership and how it applies to our realm of public education. But we also saw an opportunity for potential collaboration with Harris County Department of Ed and the War College. It has been expressed to us that the U.S. Army is desperately seeking more people to enroll into the military as their enrollment decreases. And so we're currently in the process of gathering information to provide to the War College, and we may have a visit by a 2-star general that we will perhaps put together a focus group where he could sit down with superintendents and we can have some professional dialogue about this dilemma and how we might be able to help as an organization. And Harris County Department of Ed would be the one that facilitates that. December 8th, we will have our holiday reception at MPO, so I would invite all the board members if you'd like to attend that. We will have Venetia follow up with you with logistics on that. This is our annual Christmas party that we'll do. We'll also have one at at Irvington here on December 14th, which is the day of the board meeting, and so you'll get information on that to attend early, and we certainly would like you to be a part of that. You've been given a card for our Bates Collision. One of the things I look most forward to every single year, the Bates family has given well over 30 vehicles to our Head Start parents throughout the years, and they're just fantastic, critical partners of Harris County. I believe this year, Vanita, they're just doing one car for our Head Start family. Which site, what day, do you know that yet? So just stay tuned for that. There's two different dates. There's December 14th and December 15th. I believe the 14th is in Baytown, and the 15th will be at the Channelview location. One of those will be for our Head Start parents, and the other one would be probably for a citizen of that community, and we don't know which one is what yet. But really super cool event, and there's nothing better than to watch. It's really life-altering for that parent who receives that gift, but also for the kids and the kind of impact that it has on that family. So just super powerful. This Saturday, I will be speaking at U of H downtown. They're holding a symposium that's a superintendent's panel at some location. It's a hotel somewhere, but they've got myself, the superintendent from HISD, superintendent from Aldine ISD, and the superintendent at A-Leaf, and I'm going to talk about that here in a second. So my last thing I want to say, well, my second to last thing I want to say, is A-Leaf ISD just announced a week ago that they've got a new leader, a new superintendent. And that person that they've announced used to work at Harris County Department of Education. And his name is Dr. Anthony Mays. Anthony Mays is a good man and a champion for children, and they could not have found a better leader for that school district than Dr. Anthony Mays. I call him Brother Mays. Y'all know him. He was the tall, lanky one that would come before y'all and speak from time to time and ran our schools. But it speaks not only to the character of that individual, who I've known for an extremely long time, straight out of college, and he has constantly, fearlessly fought and advocated for young people. So for that reason, they could not have found a better person. But it also speaks to the quality and the caliber of the people who work in this organization, that people would seek after them because of the good work that they do, and they know it. And so we're losing one in Laura, we lost one in Dr. Mays, but they go on to better places and they continue to keep their fingerprint and footprint in our society. And so to Anthony, Brother Anthony Mays, I want to congratulate him publicly for just a fantastic job, and I cannot be happier for him and his family of being a new superintendent at A-Leaf. And finally, the last thing I will say is that this is our last meeting before our Thanksgiving. I did not know Thanksgiving was next week. Been a little busy. But we really need to take the time and just be thankful and spend it with our family, because we're so fortunate for everything that we have. And the thing that is so powerful to us, not only our profession, but the thing that we hold dearly is our family. And the important thing is that we try to find a minute just for a second to get bored, so we miss coming back to work again. But the fellowship and the camaraderie of being around our loved ones is something that we should value more than anything in this world. With that, Mr. Chair, that's all I have.
you, Mr. Superintendent. And now we will move on to our updates, our division updates, starting with the Research and Evaluation Institute, and that update will be provided by Yolanda Pirtle, Manager.
Cantu, can I say a few words while Ms. Pirtle gets ready? The Research and Evaluation Department, as you guys know, we're in a transitional state here. Our director for close to 6 years, Dr. Darlene Bro, she retired at the end of September. And so today I had asked Ms. Pirtle, who's the manager of Research and Evaluation, to do the year in review. So I just wanted to get that context while she sets up and get ready.
Thank you. Good afternoon, President Cantu, Board of Trustees, General Counsel Longo, Executive Leadership Team. Thank you for having me. I am Yolanda Pirtle, the Manager for Research and Evaluation, and today I will be giving you our division annual updates. So before I get started, I want to introduce you to my team. Like he said, we did have our director retire in September, and my team has been wonderful helping me keep the ball rolling in REI. So please stand. Thank you. We have Miss Lakita Holmes, Miss Joanne Pham, Dr. Akua Abing, Miss Rosa Pacheco, Miss Tracy Yeager, and Mr. Jonathan Kandakar. Thank you all for everything you do. So why do we exist? Research and Evaluation exists to support HCDE's mission and its divisions in making decisions by providing relevant, timely, and efficient data and information. We strive to stay up to date on relevant information in and around Harris County so that we can advise HCDE and its divisions while they're making their decisions on what services to provide to Harris County. So what do? We have been collaborating with divisions to provide innovative solutions to the students here in Harris County. We do that by developing dashboards, one-pagers, and various research projects. I'll talk a little bit more about that as I go through my presentation. But also, we work on keeping divisions accountable, holding divisions accountable. We help them with their service delivery counts, their client satisfaction, their outcome goals, and of course, their financial effectiveness. One of the big projects that we are so proud to have produced is our State of Texas Education Dashboard. Now, this dashboard was created to share information about Texas public school districts, superintendents, educators, and students. Now, this dashboard was originally produced in 2020, but what we did was kind of take it and upgrade it and gave it a facelift. And I'll show you just a snippet of what you can find in our State of Texas dashboard. So here you see a map of Texas. And across Texas, you can see that we have our districts labeled by accountability ratings. For example, our A's are highlighted in A, the B's and C's and not rated and rated. So basically what this dashboard does is very interactive. So you can go in, you can search districts, you can go through it by year, you can even zoom in to Harris County if you like. Now this is just one of the many things that you can do with our dashboard. Our goal with this dashboard is to provide it for our divisions to use when they're making decisions. For example, CES, they can use this if they want to go in and look at teachers, certified teachers in the districts. Or if Center for Safe and Secure Schools would like to go in and look at the total students in different districts so they can know what services they want to provide to the different districts. We've also created data one-pagers. For example, Trustee Norris requested some data from us on special education within Houston ISD. So basically, we gathered some information about all enrollment, special education in Texas, Harris County, and certain school districts within HISD. And also, Trustee Duhan requested some information for us about state of speech language pathology in education. And basically when we went through and kind of figured out what programs were offered here in Texas for speech pathologists in Harris County. This is just one thing. Basically, these data one-pagers, they provide a snapshot of data. We also do this for our divisions when they have their annual events. If they have a survey, we'll collect that data and put it in its nice format. But also, more than just the data, we'll provide recommendations. For instance, we might attend one of the events that's shown here, and then we'll just give them some of the pluses and deltas that we saw, or just coming from the data itself. Another big project that we have been working on in collaboration with technology in our special schools is the Special Schools Dashboard. This dashboard will eventually begin to show the unique data that our special schools offer. So we just came out of training with this one, but we're excited to get the ball rolling on it. Eventually, we'll go out to the different schools to train on how to use the dashboard so that they can look at it and make decisions accordingly. We also have our internal accountability. We have 2 coordinators, one assigned to Head Start and one assigned to CASE for kids. Not only do they do their project evaluations, they might do their client satisfaction, but we do more than that. So for instance, we have our Head Start dashboard. This is our assessment dashboard that we have produced for Head Start. We update it annually, actually 3 times a year. And then we also have one for CASE. The CASE coordinator went a little farther. We have our original service delivery dashboard, but she reached out and said, hey, let us do more. Let us dig deeper into your data. And so that's what you see here, a more in-depth service delivery dashboard for CASE. So our next steps, we want to continue to increase our communication to HCDE and the divisions on why we exist. We want to provide relevant information, timely and efficient data. We want to stay up to date about the information in and around Harris County so that when it comes time to make decisions, we give you the correct data so that you can make good decisions for our students in Harris County. We also want to support divisions more effectively. We want to produce assets that can aid in divisions' decision makings. We don't want to just present to you a dashboard and say, here you go. We wanted you to look at it. We want to show you how to use your data to make those decisions. Same thing for the data one-pagers. And also, we want to increase our methodologies beyond surveys. We don't want to be known as the survey people. We want to do more. We want to get out there and get some focus group going, interviews, observations, all so that we can give decision makers more compelling data. And that is all I have for today. Any questions for me?
Questions from trustees? Superintendent.
I'd just like to say that this division is one that will be evolving, really, because as we try to seek out an opportunity to try to objectify our successes instead of just talking about them. And so we're trying to seek out opportunities to measure some of the successes of a school like Fortis and look at data that you typically wouldn't find anywhere in the country, stuff that even TEA isn't measuring. You know, a question you might ask yourself is, did the kid have breakfast this morning? How much sleep did they get last night? All of these things alter and change behavior and affect the whole child. And so we're trying to do something unique, and I appreciate our research division and really, you know, they've never complained about accepting these tasks. They actually get excited about it, which always surprises me. They don't like the deadlines, but they love the challenge. So I appreciate you and your leadership in this interim position as we try to, you know, solidify that vacancy. And I look forward to the work that y'all provide. So thank you to you and your staff.
Thank you.
I have a question. I have a question. I do. So my question is, what software, what vehicle are you using to compile the data? Are you using like R? Are you using Python? Using Excel? What vehicle are you using?
So we do a little bit of Excel, but for like our dashboards, we're using Power BI. And then for the schools dashboard is actually Power Schools. But we do use Excel, we do a little SPSS, and in Qualtrics, it also has like a Stats IQ program that kind of analyzes our data.
What you may not know about me is actually one of the, I think my third master's degree that I'm working on is actually on data.
Really?
It is at Duke. It has a master's in data analysis.
Okay.
So that's why I was wondering what platform, because the up and coming kind of platforms are Python, or those are like the vehicles that are kind of the up and coming, well known, well used. It might behoove our department to look at those type
Okay.
of vehicles like R or Python for various reasons.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for your hard work, Yolanda.
Another question, Ms. Purtle.
Sorry, I started
It's
it.
okay. That's all right.
Don't run away.
Okay.
You mentioned requests from Trustee Norris and Trustee Duhan. I wanted to remind you about a request from Trustee Cantu.
Okay. I apologize. I might have forgotten that.
You were working on it with case, but I had asked for a map showing where all our case
Yes.
services are, and I don't know if they can be designated, whether they're
Absolutely.
city and county and partnerships. I know there's various types of
Program.
services and programs, but I just wanted to remind you that. I'd like to see
Thank
that
you.
map
Yes.
sometime. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for me? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we will hear from the Center for Safe and Secure Schools, Director Julie Anders.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, President Cantu, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Colbert. I am Dr. Julia Andrews, and I will be presenting my yearly update.
Hold on. You said you're what?
Doctor.
Dr. Julie Andrews? I just wanted to make sure no one here missed that. Okay.
Thank you. First, I'd like to introduce my exceptional team. We have, if you guys could stand, Janice Wallaby, Sasha Blake, and Gil Gayona. We are in the work every day, all day, so thank you all for being here today. The Center for Safe and Secure Schools was established in 1999 at the request of our superintendents after Columbine. We strive to support school districts in Harris County to build safer and more secure learning environments. So a few of the services that we provide, state mandated facility and security audits. We are currently in 13 of our 25 school districts conducting those audits. Restorative practices along with emotional safety, trauma and resilience, youth mental health first aid training, and ongoing opportunities for threat assessment and intruderology, active shooter and craze. We have a short highlight video just to highlight what we've done over the last year in the center. All the way down to the reunification station. We provide resources, school safety audits,
Security is a lockbox.
physical safety training,
High on the arm.
emotional safety training,
It shows them like that's the why.
socio-emotional and mental health needs type trainings and resources for our school districts.
HCDE's the Center for Safe and Secure Schools works closely with school districts in and around Harris County.
We service 24 in-county school districts out of 25 districts, 6 out-of-county school districts, and then we have charter schools and private schools that we provide resource and training for.
The center has a climate and culture specialist
I want you to create 3 categories.
who provides an emotional component to what the center does.
I do professional development, Head Start through high school, and the administration. We have a menu of services, but it really is predicated on their needs. And so usually I'll sit down with the administrators, and I've sat down with teacher groups, and we really look at like where we are now, like an authentic assessment, and then they talk about where do they want to go.
The menu of services include actionable deliverables providing educators with tools and strategies.
So it can be, how do I work with instruction to create entrance procedures where you're going to be able to check in with the kid and do your instructional work that's going to align with your TEKS. Teachers only have a certain amount of the day, and they got to meet certain goals, and so my job is to help them realize that restorative practices and social emotional learning isn't an extra task. It's something that you do that helps support the tasks that you are already doing.
The center's school safety and security specialist takes on the more physical component of school safety.
We jokingly say we have a hard side of safety and a soft side of safety. I do the hard side of safety, the physical safety. I found a couple of 2020s. We work with the districts and the campuses on making sure that they have the safety and security policies and issues and plans that they should have in place. One of the most important things I do is the safety and security audit, where I physically go out on campuses and walk through assessments that range from intruder to the interior, to talking about policy, and then just walking around and checking sure that everything is physically safe.
Throughout the year, the center holds workshops, professional development, and conducts real-life scenario trainings to help area educators have best practices in place.
The kid, do you feel comfortable leaving with your parent? Plan on paper, but until you actually exercise it and put your hands on it, you just don't really know how it will work.
The Center for Safe and Secure Schools has helped many in the Houston area and state, and on the occasion throughout the U.S.
We look forward to working with local, state, and national policymakers over the upcoming months to make sound decisions as it pertains to school safety and how we can ensure that our students and our staff in the schools remain safe.
For more information on the Center for Safe and Secure Schools, visit www.hcde-texas.org.
Thank you. So with that, we are in 24 in-county school districts and actually 6 out-of-county school districts to date. A few of our training topics include that have been most popular are basic NIMS, especially for administrators and campus, both central office and campus leadership, emergency operations planning, responding through triggers, and then reunification. Reunification meaning what do we do when we have an emergency and we need to reunify students with parents. Currently, we are up almost 60% from last year, serving professionals 7,966, indirect students 71,538, and out-of-county 580. A few of our very important collaborative partners include I Love You Guys, Mental Health of America, our county commissioners, City of Houston and Harris County Emergency Management, our fire marshal, and of course our sheriff's office. Our trends and challenges for the center include meeting the safety and security needs for all districts with the increased demand for school safety services. We've seen an increase in demands from every district that we serve, both public and private and charter, over the last 9 months. Expanding our offerings through various media platforms so we can reach more people, not just within Harris County, but around the nation. And then partnering with national and statewide organizations to provide trainings for their districts. Our client satisfaction is up to 99.1%. We are very proud of that. Based on our surveys and information from our participants who attend our trainings. And our goals include increase the visibility of the center on a local, state, and national level. We want to be the first when someone thinks of school safety. We want them to talk about HCDE first. Supply training services for all educators, highlighting best practices in emotional safety as well as physical safety. Build, maintain, and sustain client relationships through the quality of delivery, end users of services and professional development, and deliver strong internal support. So making sure that our schools have as many services that we offer as our external clients. And then one last question I have that we are starting to talk about is, are you okay? And this is where we ask our students, our teachers, and our administrators, not just how you are doing, but are you okay? And that means physically and emotionally. You can't have one without the other. And so we like to talk about we are in the physical side of safety and the emotional heart work side of safety. So are you okay is what we will start asking our students, and not how are you doing. Thank you for your time. What questions do you have for me?
Questions?
Okay, a few things. So you have an agenda item with you today, 7.6, where we're actually looking to double the size of our Safe and Secure Schools. Safe and Secure Schools prides itself, along with HCDE, in being responsive, attentive, but also being able to stay in front of issues. And we know that the current state of public ed right now is highly unstable when it comes to student behavior, both with violent and also behavior. You know, the restorative practices that you do is actually quite exceptional. But I have a feeling that because of the most recent tragic incidents that have happened in our state, that it would have what I would call the Columbine effect, that we will see that in the state of Texas. We are at the cusp of going into a legislative session, and I can assure you there will be an extensive number of policies that come down this year, coupled with a lot of money thrown to school districts to be able to meet that expectation, and then shortly thereafter they will be held accountable for it. Right now, even prior to the incident that happened in Uvalde, there is a limited number of people who can help school districts meet those expectations, and we've been doing it for years. You've seen our entire staff. It's 4 of them, and they're all soldiers, but we need 3 more. And so we need to expand our reach and be able to provide services and help school districts meet the needs that we know are going to come legislatively. So later on today, we'll ask your support in being able to help approve that to provide some assistance for our Safe and Secure Schools division.
Will do. Take it away, Danny.
All right, so I have a couple of things, 3 things actually, and y'all go with me for a minute. 2 of them will be quick. The third one is going to take a little time. It's all going to tie together, I promise you. So just give me a second, a little bit of leeway with this one. But first of all, I was going to say it, and it was already said. Congratulations on going from Director Andrews last month to Dr. Andrews this month. So congratulations. I did see that.
Thank you.
She defended, and now we have the good doctor in the house. Also want to note, I found this out last month at a different meeting too, and I mentioned it, but I don't think a lot of people knew this, but no, I didn't know this, so I don't know who else knows this, but I remember finding out that I guess after Uvalde, we've had a better audience, including the lieutenant governor. So one of the things I mentioned when I was actually running for this seat was that we need to do. I've always felt like this department should be in communication with the state legislature, because we are the education arm. We get all these different school districts. We have urban, suburban, rural, kind of. So I've always felt like we were in one of the better positions to serve as experts in these different areas. So I'm more than ecstatic to hear that you have been called to the carpet and your department has been called to the carpet, because clearly we have a need in the state of Texas for more issues on safe and secure schools. So congratulations on that. Now to the third thing, and this is a bit of a personal side, so y'all, like I said, go with me for a minute, y'all. So for those who don't know, this month is what they call Rovember. So for those who don't know, Dr. Andrews is a member of Sigma Gamma Rho, and they just made 100 this year. And particularly as a Kappa, I'm going to take y'all back for a second. So give me a second and let me explain the term to y'all, what we call Indiana love. I'm going to give a little bit of it to y'all. But to show y'all what that means, I'm gonna have to take you back a little bit even further. They were founded in 1922, but I'm gonna have to take you to the early 1900s to really appreciate why it means something to me specifically. So in the early 1900s, actually, now we're talking about the early 1900s, the beginning of the 20th century, they thought they actually had the race problem solved. They were like, we got it solved. We solved it in the 60s. And when I'm not talking about the 1960s, I'm talking about the 1860s. They said we had a whole war about it. We had Reconstruction. We had, and Superintendent Colbert mentioned he visited them at the battlefields. We solved it. We got it done. There's nothing else to do. Of course, we know better 100 years later they didn't have it all solved. But they said we had it solved. We got all these Reconstruction amendments. And, you know, that's true that the war, the amendments definitely made some progress. But for those of us who know history, it's not in a straight line. You go a little bit forward, you take a little bit back. So after the war, we know that there were some progress. They had a thing called Reconstruction, where, basically the Reconstruction era, for those who don't know, that's where basically we ended human servitude, and then a lot of those people who were formerly enslaved became some of our legislators. But things went back. There was a number of court cases, and particularly that first of all, the troops withdrew from the South, and then a number of court cases which culminated in Plessy v. Ferguson, put it back to a different era. So then Jim Crow took root, and a lot of things happened that we know that we got. So here we go. Here sets the stage for what we call the Great Migration. And that when Jim Crow when Jim Crow happens, a lot of people migrated from the South and moved up north. And I know this personally because my grandparents were part of that migration. My great-grandparents migrated from Virginia up to Pittsburgh, and my grandparents migrated to Mississippi. But a lot of people moved north during this period, and that would cause a bit of a conflict. And that sets the stage for what happened in Indiana. But even more so what happened in Indiana, I will set the stage also for one other thing that happened that made a particularly interesting conflict in Indiana was a movie called Birth of a Nation. For those who are familiar with Birth of a Nation, it was based on the 1905 book called The Klansman. It was written by Thomas Dixon, who was a classmate and a friend of President Woodrow Wilson. And for those of you, I just went and saw it to Wakanda this past weekend, so I know the importance of imagery. But this particular movie did the opposite of what Wakanda did because it had a lot of different stereotypes that were not particularly good for people of color. So that sets the stage what happens in Indiana, because what happens with Birth of a Nation is that the KKK has a revival, and one of their biggest strongholds was the state of Indiana. As a matter of fact, between 1922 and 1923, had the biggest membership in the country, which is in Indiana, and it, as a matter of fact, when the year that the organization is founded, it's averaging a new 2,000 new members every single week in the state of Indiana alone. So that sets the stage for what happens there, and your organization founds itself in 1922 and makes the 7 organizations that came before it what we call the Elite 8 at the time, and which eventually become the Divine 9. And for those who are unfamiliar with the Divine 9, you are probably very familiar with some of the members. You've probably heard names like Martin Luther King Jr., George Washington Carver, Hattie McDaniel, Toni Morris, T.C. Carson, Calvin Smith, Steve Harvey, Johnny Cochran, Loretta Lynch, Kamala Harris. All these are members of this organization, of these organizations. As a matter of fact, even in HCDE alone, you have a number of other members who are members of the Divine Nine as well, who also are celebrating with you. Myself and Dr. Keys are both members of Kappa Alpha Psi. Principal Waters is a member, and Director Truitt are members of Delta Sigma Theta. Director Ross is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha. So you have a lot of them that are here and that are very familiar with these things. And I think there's a couple of other people, but most of these organizations were founded on the East Coast. 7 of them were founded on the East Coast. 5 were at Howard, 1 was at Morgan State, and 1 was at Cornell. 2 decided to found themselves in Indiana, which brings me back to Indiana. And then what happens in Indiana, like I said, I told you I'm going to tie this back in, I promise you. I'm about to wrap it up. Yeah, I'm about to wrap it back up, I promise you. So that takes us back to Indiana. One of the things that makes it personal for me as a Kappa is that a lot of people don't know that we did not found ourselves as Kappa Alpha Psi, we founded ourselves as Kappa Alpha Nu. One of the reasons we changed our name 4 years into this, the same year that the movie The Birth of a Nation comes out, because our name was nicknamed, well, it wasn't nicknamed, a lot of nicknames went around on the campus of Indiana University where we were founded. That was Kappa Alpha N-word. We did not think that was very flattering, and therefore we changed our name. So we were particularly understanding of what happened in Indiana because there was a number of things going on. So when Sigma Gamma Rho comes up, from 7 educators just about an hour north of us in Indianapolis, we were definitely very much involved. Our organizations became very close. We have a term what we call Indiana Love because unfortunately, we were probably we were the only organization that had any love for one another at the time. So 100 years later, your organization has gone from 7 young educators to 100,000 plus members, 500 chapters, and particularly you specifically, Dr. Andrews, you, 100 years later, you are what I would call an exemplary member because you not only represent what the founders had and what they say with the founders' wildest dreams, you are actually here leading the state on issues of safe and secure schools. You are here making a difference in our particular department. So I want to just say thank you very much for what you do. Happy Roversary, and much Indiana love. And I'm now done. Y'all are like, good Lord.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations, Dr. Andrews.
Thank you.
All right.
Now it's time for reports from board members. Any board members have any reports or? Trustee Brown?
Thank you, President Cantu. I don't have any reports, but I would like to thank my HCDE family. Several weeks ago, I wasn't feeling too well, and my doorbell rang, and I'm like, who's at my door right now? I'm not expecting anyone, and I go to open the door, and it's some flowers. And I had to look at my wife, like, hold on now, I didn't order these for you. And she opens the envelope, and they were for me, and I see why, you know, get your lady some flowers, y'all, because I felt amazing, all right? So I see the secret is the flowers. But yeah, that was my first time I think I've ever received flowers, so I want to thank you all. I felt really special and loved, and I think that made me feel better, literally, so thank you all.
All right, great report. Nobody else? All right. Any reports from committees, board committees? No. If not, we will move on to our monthly financial report. Dr. Amezcua.
These are the financial highlights as of October 31st. All our information are posted on our web page, and budget amendment report we'll also review that in a few minutes. Our balance sheet as of August 31st is assets of $26,044,299, liabilities of $2,406,609, and equity of $23,637,690. We have estimated fund balance of $23,637,690. We will have the final audited as of August 31st at the January board meeting. Currently, in the current fiscal year, we have excess of, in this case, revenues over expenses of negative $2,510,058. A lot of our tax money is still going to come in until this month, so we will see that trend reverse in the next month. The indicators for the month of October, the first one is percent of fund balance to expenditures ratio. We're at 211 versus 144 a year ago at the same time. Working capital, almost the same, 23 million last year versus 24 million. On signed fund balance ratio at 49% versus 72% for the first 2 months. And then debt to income ratio, you will see this ratio play out in the February and August once the payments are made for the debt service debt. Tax revenue to total revenue, at this point in time, we have not collected any of our taxes yet. You will see that collection coming in the month of December. Indirect cost ratio, we're at 2% versus 3% this year, so we're budgeted at 3%. I'm sorry, 4%. Fee-for-service revenue ratio, we're at 42% versus 50% at the second year, so that will pick up as time goes by. And then the growth ratio will also pick up as more revenues come in later on in the year. In terms of budget amendments, so we haven't had one. We'll have one this month. Inflows in terms of revenues, budget to actual, we're at 9%, overall 8% budget to actual in terms of revenues. In terms of expenses, we're at 26%, and for the general fund, we're at 19%. In our COVID report and expenditures, we still have available $677,076 from disaster relief for Head Start, from general fund, And Head Start, we have $693,075. Our donations report for the month of October, $9,747.26, primarily from Head Start, Channelview, Funwood, Irvington, Barrett Station, LaPorte, and various other Head Starts. In our budget to actual collections, in terms of the taxable value, we're at $585 billion. We started with $572 billion and projected to be at $584. We're actually at $571 and projecting to be still at $585, moving that until August. So that should get to $585 billion. And so that would basically we'll monitor that to see if that will give us additional revenue. So at this point in time, we're basically even from the beginning of the year. Collections, again, this will start. You will see this collections get started next month. You will see a large cash coming in during the month of December. Again, year-to-date revenues, again, same thing as last year. I mean, the month of October, we still, at that time, we had not sent statements, so you will see the collections until the month of December. In terms of the disbursements, we had 418 disbursements, 684 transactions, 6 transfers, totaling $7,165,048. All the detail is posted on our website, and you have a copy of that in your packet. In terms of our segment information by major divisions, records management at minus $310,214. They're usually running 1 month behind, so that should be pretty much even. Therapy, a subsidy of $924,788, and schools a subsidy of $25,893. Choice continues in the same growth at variance of $826,580. In terms of budget amendments, we have 3 of them for one for AB West for contract for child nutrition services, special schools for center software, $37,000, and then the 3 positions to meet the increase in contracts with the districts, totaling $290,580. Amendments for insurance increase for facilities, an additional $45,000 for our facilities program. Educational foundation update. Year to date, we have $546,766 in assets, and revenue was $100,567, and we have expenses of $63.05 for the month of October. Balances per program. You'll see some of the initiatives, and the total is $546,000 in the balances that are in each of the programs that are in the foundation. In terms of our least revenue projects, we continue with the small business program, and we have total available as of October 31st, $31,182,805, which includes the PFC and the maintenance notes. That's available, still pending to be utilized, and the majority of that has been encumbered. In terms of our percentages, AB East, again, near 100% encumbrance, 43% encumbrance. Irvington, 101% High Point East, and 91% adult debt. Irvington, we have $9,734,751. Only 23% of the cost allocated to the Irvington project. That's the report for the interim financial report for the month of October. What questions do you have before I go to the investment report?
Any board members have questions? Go ahead.
Thank you. The next report is the investment. getting a little interesting every month because the Fed's increased rates by 75 basis points, and then it's also going to do that probably in December, so you'll see a little bit of a change as we go through. All our reports are posted on our website. Our policy is certified, and so we have a total of, let me get this. Public Facilities Corporation, 13,270,246, and HCD portfolio of 45,428,950, a total of 58,699,196. Lone Star, 44%, Chase, 8%, Texas Class, 21%, Texas Start, 4%, and TexPool, 23%. Our TexPool for PFC, 98% in TexPool and 2% in Beckham, Texas. HCD portfolio comparison from a year ago, we spent 23% of our portfolio on our capital projects primarily, and so the balances have gone down by about 17 million. All our funds right now are overnight. We're going to start to ladder the investments as interest rates continue to rise. You will see that between the 1 to 12 month period in the next 2 or 3 months. Year to date, we've earned $193,882. PFC, $67,685, and yield of 3.22%. And next month, you will start seeing well into the 4% as we start seeing those changes. So right now we're in the 3% scenario. Next month we'll start being in the 3.5 to 4%. As you can see that a year ago we were at 1 basis point versus where we're at now. And that's our investment report for the month of October. Thank you.
All right. Now we are moving to the consensus part of the agenda. Do we have any board members that would like to take an item out of order?
By request of Trustee Hinojosa, she would like to have pulled agenda items D, 1, 2, and 4, just for explanation.
You can always ask a question.
Okay. Trustee Brown, you had one?
This isn't in regard to an agenda item. I wanted to highlight that Head Start, we have our federal review coming up on the 28th. And I want to thank Ms. Peacock for working so hard to prepare everyone. Last night at our policy council meeting, we informed the parents on the process. And Mr. Parker, he's been guiding me along the way, and as well as Ms. Peacock. So I just want to shout out all of Head Start and the parents as well. And the 28th, the federal review, we're going to knock it out.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right. So we have items D1, 2, and 4 that we will take out of order, and those will be placed at the beginning of non-consensus. Is that correct? Okay. So if there is no other items, do I hear a motion to approve our consensus agenda?
So moved. Second.
A motion by Trustee Norris, second by Trustee Dick. Any discussion? Not. All those in favor, raise your right hand. No, none opposed. Motion passes. And if there's not any objection, I actually would like to start off the non-consensus agenda and bring up in a way to honor our new doctor, item 7.6. There's no objection. I'd like to hear a motion to approve item 7.6, doubling the size of our Center for Safe and Secure Schools.
So moved.
Second.
Morris, second trustee Dick. Any discussion? Not all those in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. Motion passes. All right, and so back to D1, approval to submit an application to request a low-cost extension for the Coolwood Head Start construction grant to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
So moved.
A motion from trustee Brown.
Second.
Second by trustee Norris. Questions? I believe there are. We're requesting some information.
So we were awarded our Coolwood project approximately 2 years ago. Our project will end the construction portion of it. The grant ends on January of 2023. We are, as you are aware, the freeze, cost, we've hit a lot of snags, so we will not be finished at the end of January 2023. So we are required to, 30 days prior to the end of the project, submit a low-cost extension, which is kind of funny because it's a zero cost. There's no additional money, but they will give us an additional year to complete the project.
We could probably do 2 way forward while she's up there.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and explain number 2 as well.
So they need to vote on 1.
Oh, okay. Any other questions regarding D1? We got a motion and a second. No more questions, so all those in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, D2. It's an approval to request a waiver of 15% administrative cost limitations for Head Start grant number 06CH011535. Do I hear a motion?
Second.
Motion by trustee Norris, second by trustee Brown. And questions?
So it has become increasingly difficult for us to maintain our 15% requirement to stay below 15% for administrative cost. With the increase in some of the administrative cost, we have had to do salary increases. You guys have approved salary increases, and some of that is not considered program, like benefits, and all of that has driven up. We use the rate that we get from TEA, which is, I believe, 12.853 right now, 12.221, that. So that puts us already really close. So with all the increased costs and some of the administrative costs, we are at a little over 17 this year. So we're asking them to waive us and allow us to draw down administrative costs in that amount to support the program.
Thank you for that explanation, Ms. Peacock. Is there any other than salary or payroll, is there any other?
Well, some facility costs are not considered, they're considered administrative costs versus program costs. There's benefits, and then like certain contracts that are not direct services to children are also considered administrative costs.
Okay, that's what I was looking to hear. So like our health insurance and those things have
Yes,
gone up
all
as well?
benefits are considered an administrative cost.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. So we've got a motion and a second. We had an explanation. So all those in favor, D2, raise your right hand. Motion passes. And the next one is D4. It's an approval to submit an American Rescue Fund's budget revision request in the amount of $393,594 to the Department of Health and Human Services. And this is also Head Start. This is a fencing project. Can you tell us about it?
So the American Rescue Funds were set aside.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Brown, second by trustee Norris. Questions?
The American Rescue Funds were funds provided specifically for us to respond to things to do with COVID and the impact that COVID has had on the project. Along with that, normally when we have anything that's equipment-wise, if it's under $5,000, we are required to do a special request to remove that money if we did not do it during the continuation process. Well, with the American Rescue Funds, they allowed us to be able to go up to $25,000. However, these 4 projects that we're asking for funds exceed that amount. One of them is to put a fence around the entire perimeter of Sheffield to help us secure that area better. The same at Channelview to secure, we've had a lot of homelessness and kids, and we found paraphernalia and different things on the playground. So we're trying to solidify it, make it more safe. Also at that campus, at Barrett's, we also need a vehicle because we currently, until we get our building in place, we need to move food. We already do that at one of our facilities, but we need another vehicle to help us move food from one kitchen to another facility to serve our students. And then the 4th thing in the project is we need to revamp our playground as we're adding infant toddlers to our facility at Barrett Station. So those 3 amounts make that, those 4 projects make this total amount.
All right. Any other questions? Thank you for that explanation. All right, so all those in favor for D4, raise your right hand. Any opposed? Motion passes. And we're back to non-consensus at the beginning. 7.1 is approval of a project delivery contract method of job order contracting for perimeter fencing project and JOC contract with Durapeer Facility Services Limited, DBA Facility Sources, in the amount of $276,419. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Brown, second by Trustee Dick. Any questions? Any discussion? If not, all those raise your right hand if you approve. Motion passes. 7.2, approval of HCDE Early Head Start Child Care Partnerships contract in the amount of $141,000 for the Pasadena, with VNK LLC doing business as Pasadena Learning Center. Do I hear a motion?
Oh, second.
Motion by Trustee Brown, second by Trustee Norris. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed? Motion passes. 7.3, consider award of CSB 22-058YR for the Humble Early Head Start site work and utilities project to Durapeer Facility Services, doing business as Facility Sources, not to exceed the amount of $786,000. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Brown, second by Trustee Norris. Any discussion? Not, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. 7.4, approval of services agreement with Forever Clever Learning LLC, doing business at Sylvan Learning in the amount not to exceed $159,919. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Brown, second by Trustee Norris. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, raise your right hand. None opposed, motion carries. 7.5, ratification of interlocal agreement for FY 2023 in the aggregate amount of $250,000 with Houston ISD Nutrition Services to provide breakfast and lunch for the ABS East and ABS West. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Brown, second by Trustee Norris. Any discussion? Not, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. And it is now, we go in executive session? Yeah. So it is now 2:17 p.m. and the board will recess into executive session. Ready? I think we're ready to get back. It's now 3:11 p.m. Back into regular session. And yeah, I believe there is no action. So the only other item is agenda item 10, discussion and possible action regarding future agenda items. Any trustees have anything? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Trustee Norris.
Second.
Second by Trustee Dick. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, raise your right hand. We are adjourned. Thank you.